Hello and welcome to AskFans TV. I'm Matt Brown. So, week 3 of the Premier League, and dare I say it, pretty boring Saturday. In fact, Gary Lineker's opening link on Match of the Day should have been, I'd see if something else is on if I were you. All right, Newcastle got their first win, so their fans had something to get drunk about. Not you though, Ant McParlin, or you Gazza, or anyone on Geordie Shore for that matter. Swansea City got their first win, but let's be honest, the Saturday was about as entertaining as Piers Morgan. It was saved by Charlie Daniels' once-in-a-lifetime goal for Bournemouth, but even that was more of a pulling in the nightclub at 5-2 moment, wasn't it, really? Round up then, both Manchester teams won and they were brimming with pride. I mean, literally, it was gay pride in Manchester. The Manchester United machine rolls on. Even Fellaini scored. I mean, I say he scored. Rashford booted it at him. It went in, off him. Fellaini is about as useful as the post. But that proves my point. Manchester United missed a penalty. Fellaini faces the wrong way and still scores. Trust me, they're going to win the Premier League this year. But just when you think sequels are always rubbish. Ghostbusters 2, Speed 2, Desmond 2, it was Match of the Day 2 that came up with a belter. Liverpool destroyed Arsenal 4-0. Proper demolition job. You almost saw Miley Cyrus coming through on a wrecking ball with Jurgen Klopp on her shoulders. At one point, I'm pretty sure Arsene Wenger held up the sign that read Wenger out on it. Klopp has well and truly put his flag in the peak of the Premier League mountain to claim it his. Liverpool could have substituted the football for a temping bowling ball and Arsenal still wouldn't have been able to intercept a pass. Good news, Arsenal have got the Europa League to look forward to, and Arsenal have been drawn in the Europa League to play a team called Bate Borisov. Boris Johnson has said that he hopes Arsenal can beat them and masturbate Borisov. And finally, a massive thank you to Wayne Rooney. He has retired from playing for the National England team, and what a servant he has been. Thank you, Wayne, for being a shining light in a very questionable decade of international football under the flipping Roy Hodgson. Oh, and my nan sends her regards. OK, so it's time to meet today's guest. We've got none other than Crystal Palace legend, John Salako. Hey John, how you doing? I'm Math, pleased to meet you. Right, thanks for coming to AskFans TV.
Pleasure.
Have a cracking chat to you in a bit about Crystal Palace. We'll try and keep it as light as possible. Yeah. Before we do that, I challenge every guest that comes into a game of foosball. Now, just to let you know, I've taken on Emil Heskey, Lee Hendry and Nigel Winterburn, beat the lot. We're up against it. Yeah. What do you reckon?
Oh, I don't know, I'm not that good, but I'll give it a go.
It's not going to make any difference, I'm afraid. All right, when you're ready, come and join us, we'll have a game. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome John Salako to the table. Come on, John. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You do stretch all you like, it's not going to make any difference. All right, let's go for it. Chuck it in, ref. Oh, good start, nearly no goal.
Oh. Get in, oh. Get in there, boom! Oh. Get in!
Playing bad on purpose now. Oh! You've got a keeper shooting.
Oh.
Yeah!
Oh. Yeah! Come on! That's what we're talking about.
John, well done on the table. First person to beat me, so well done for that.
Oh, thank you. I was delighted with that.
You got into it, didn't you?
You are the champ, so it's always good to take the champ down.
Thanks very much for coming in. Let's talk about Palace, because obviously that's where we got to start straight away.
Okay.
Not a great start. 3 games in, no goals scored, 3 losses.
Well, look, you know, obviously Sam Allardyce came in, found it tough, did a tremendous job, and then he left, and you know, he sort of just... Everyone was sort of just falling in love with Sam and thought, right, the right man to take us forward. And then obviously he left a massive gap, and obviously the chairman had to quickly, you know, scuttle around and try and find, you know, someone that's going to take us forward.
So bringing in Frank de Boer, do you think the style of football has changed?
It certainly has. It's a different mentality. It's a different way of playing football. He's grown up the Ajax way, you know, the Dutch football, and he can't get that out of himself. And you know, as much as he probably tried to accommodate and be a little bit pragmatic with the players he's got, no doubt his influence has taken the team in a certain direction. But you know, obviously the question mark was just not too quickly. You know, obviously as you bring in your own players, you sign better calibre players, maybe you can play a different style of football. But first and foremost, in the Premier League, you've got to get results. You've got to get up that table, because when you're down the bottom looking up, it just looks like a mountain you've got to climb, and every game looks tough. When you're halfway up the table, you sort of look down with a bit of confidence, a bit of belief, and you know, you almost go into every game sort of looking forward to it. You know, the fans are obviously more more expectant and looking forward to games, whereas there's almost sort of like a cloud that hangs over you, especially if you lose your first 3 games. So it's been a real tough start.
And so do you think if you were in that dressing room and a legend like Frank de Boer came in, obviously that's someone you can really learn from. How long do you think he'll be able to keep the players forward if the results keep going?
Me and Frank should be mates anyway. No, you've got to have this almost arrogance. You've got to have this belief, and you've got to have this... It's almost like there's... In every aspect of the football, being a coach, being a player, being... Whatever you are in the setup of the dressing room, you can be yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
But when you sit in that manager's chair, you have to change. You've got to change. I would call it 50p head. You know, you've got to have a face for the camera, for the press. You've got to have a face for you interviewers. You know, you've got to have a face for the fans. You've got to have a face for the board.
Yeah.
You've got to have a face for the players. You've got to be whatever you need to be at that moment that actually gets you where you go. So you set out your stall, you set out what it is you're trying to achieve, what you're going to be, and you've got to play that. You've got to play that role, and it's very important. And I think because it's so fickle and so demanding, I think if you leave yourself open a little bit, people worm in there and they get to you and they try and bring you down, and it's really harsh.
So let's say, for example, your best player is being signed. A situation now that you're in for Crystal Palace. Let's say Sahar goes to, I don't know, back to Manchester United or goes to Everton all of a sudden. That can change the dynamic again, right?
Massively. It's always disappointing and massively draining when your top player leaves, because you're questioning the ambition of the club. You know, obviously you want your best players to stay. Unless he plays in your position, then you're like, I want to fill that role. But every time someone leaves or someone gets injured, or it's an opportunity. If
you're in the dressing room, Coutinho's handed in a transfer request. Yeah. He wants to go. It's a big opportunity for them. Yeah. How does the rest of the team feel? I
don't know if they worry about it too much. Certain players will obviously think about it, because you don't want your best player, leaving or sitting in the stands and causing issues. You know, a lot of the dressing room probably look at it as an opportunity to feel that. You know, as in Liverpool, Mane, Salah will step up to the plate and want to be in the team. You know, you don't want players that are just happy to come in and pick up their money and sit on the bench. Oh, yeah. You know, what is that? Do you know what? I think Coutinho's at the age and in the stage with the World Cup at the end of the season that he could have stayed a year. He really could have done. He's happy there. They've given him the platform. Yeah. Say to him, look, I'm going to play, I'm going to go to the World Cup. They're in the Champions League. Yeah. You know, he could have played, and then he could have said to Barcelona, look, set the deal up, I'll come next season. And it would have been perfect. And I don't like that. I don't like what Van Dijk's done or Sanchez has done. I don't think it's right.
Did you ever hand in a transfer request yourself?
Of course you did.
No, did you ever?
I hate to play now with all this money in the game. Do you know what? I think I did, yeah. I think I did once at Palace. I think I'd sort of been injured. I'd come back and the team had changed. I just felt it was time for me to move on.
Let's talk about your old mate, Alan Pardew. Future England manager, do you think?
Do you know, he was. Alan's done tremendously well. I've known Alan for a lot of years. We played together at Palace for 6, 7 years. And, Alan was always a shoot at the game. You know, he wasn't a top player, but he worked hard and he always analysed the game. And, he got his badges and went to Reading. He took me to Reading. And I was very impressed with him as a manager. You know, attention to detail, understanding players, man management. And he's gone and done really well. Newcastle, Southampton, Charlton, West Ham. He came in and did a really good job at Palace. And do you know what? I mean, getting to that Christmas, I think it was 2015, we were 5th in the Premier League. And everyone was talking about Alan Pardew, next England manager. And then the second half of the season, it's not that we couldn't buy a win. We were a little bit unlucky. Things didn't really go our way. And although we were winning in the Cup, we couldn't win in the league. And you suddenly become under pressure and people start questioning you. And to be fair, he's had those runs at West Ham, Southampton and Newcastle where he's sort of gone a year, only winning 2 or 3 games or something. It's weird how that's happened. But, maybe that's just him being a little bit stubborn and not changing things around. He definitely should have listened to me more when I was first-team coach. And then Pards, I don't know, called me one day and said, oh, do you want to come in and do a bit with the first team? We went to St George's Park. At the end of that week, he said, do you want to be first-team coach? Here's a 2-year deal. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, fancy.
And everyone was like, yeah, stay in TV, don't go into it. Don't do it, Sal. And I was like, I got to listen to my heart. Got to the cup final, should have beaten Man United. I reckon it was that little jig by Pardew, by the way, that cost us. It was like, why?
So what's your guest bet of the week?
Well, it's international week, so I'm going to go for England to beat Malta by more than 3 goals. So that's England -3 against Malta, and that's 7-5.
Great. Well, I think that's worth putting some money on, so thanks for the tip.
Definitely.
Final question then, one-word answer. Palace, staying up or not?
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for your time, John. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for coming in. So now we move on to our challenge bet. We are back to square one this week, and of course, we got what we deserved by backing Wenger's men to at least find a net once against Liverpool. Wenger out just for that reason. It is the international fixtures this week, and whilst these games are always tricky to call, looking around, we quite fancy Wales. They face Austria and have their backs to the wall in a must-win game for Chris Coleman's side in Group D. But the Austrians have won only 1 away game since 2015, so we fancy the Welsh to kickstart their World Cup qualification hopes in Cardiff. So we're going to go with Wales to beat Austria 6-5 with our challenge bet this week with 21bet. Place your £25 bet and get started, and hopefully next week we'll start with £55. For more information, simply go to our site askfans.co.uk. Now, you've been busy sending in your questions to #AskSalako, which we put to him earlier on. Here's what he had to say.
Right, let's see what you want to know. Well, you haven't held back. What did it feel like when you realised red was home and white was away in the Carabao Cup draw? I was horrified, to say the least. It's one of those weird things. We did the Bury Sunderland game with Alec McLeish, then we quickly shot off set, had a quick freshen up, jumped on set. I hadn't seen the balls, but they said, look, pick a side, then pick home or away. I had in my head, white home, red away. And after about the third one, when I saw there was a big H on the red and a big A on the white one, it was horror. My TV career flashed in front of me, and hopefully Sky will have me back. Do I feel I should have won more England caps? And what was it like playing under Graham Taylor? It was brilliant playing under Graham Taylor. I was absolutely delighted to be in the England squad, to play amongst, you know, people like Gary Lineker, you know, Pearce, Walker, Adams, you know, Keown, Wright. It's a dream come true, and obviously when I played against that unified Germany side in '91, that was unfortunately going to be the pinnacle, because after that, shortly, I ruptured my anterior cruciate, playing at home to Leeds, got back into the England side under Terry Venables, and then it went again. So, love to have got more England caps, but it wasn't meant to be, unfortunately. Right, it says here, have you done a cameo and messed up on Sky Sports? Well, live TV, you're going to mess up. I think one of the funniest ones was I went into Jeff, Reading had a penalty, and I think Ian Hart was playing left-back, he had a penalty, and he doesn't miss. And I said to Jeff, yep, put my house and car and everything on this one, he's going to score. And, of course, he missed. Who were the biggest troublemakers in your playing days? Oh, wow. The most horrible person I played against was Vinnie Jones, Wimbledon, John Fashanu. Vinny was always up to mischief. He'd, you know, play music too loud, he'd get in your face. I can remember walking up the Sunil v Wimbledon one day, we're coming out side by side, and Gareth Southgate's captain of Palace and Vinny's captain of Wimbledon. He looks at Gareth and he says, oi, schoolboy. He says, you're going to get that, son. And seriously, 10 minutes into the game, Gareth was getting stretched off with an absolutely busted up nose. So Vinny was a mean man. What do Palace need to do to improve their current league position? Well, they need to win games, get points. The good thing is they've lost 3 games, but they're only 1 point from safety. The team needs to be more pragmatic. They need to work harder, stop making mistakes, score some goals and win games, and I'm sure they're going to be absolutely fine. Who is the best talent in the Palace Youth Academy? It's a young lad called Jason Lakilo. He came in from Belgium. I think he's 18. He came in when he was 16. Absolutely fantastic talent. Was arguably the best young up-and-coming player in Belgium. It's only a matter of time before he's playing, and the lad's going to be a star. What is the worst ground to visit for Sky Sports? Portsmouth, without any shadow of a doubt. There's no real defined spot where you can stand, so you almost have to stand round the corner to do your pieces to camera and then try and watch the game as best you can. You know, I think one of Chris Kamara's most famous bits was he missed a sending off at Portsmouth, where you just can't see. You really don't know what's going on, and if they score, very rowdy, a lot of fans. It's your worst nightmare, and yeah, I hate going there. Well, that's your Fans Ask. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Great to hear from John, and thanks for all your questions. If you haven't had the chance to see Heskey, Winterburn and Hendry answer your questions, then please check out our social media pages, details below. Now, it's time for the Whacky Acca.
Thanks, Matt. I'm here this week for the Whacky Acca, as no one else has managed to nail it yet. This time it's going to be wacky. This one's for the Saturday afternoon international fixtures. First selection is for the Spain versus Italy. Spain haven't beat Italy since 2012 and in their official tournament fixture. We're going for Italy because the odds are 7-2 and it's too big a price. Next is Finland versus Iceland. That was a 3-2 thriller last year at the World Cup. So same again, both teams to score and any team to win at 23-10. Moving on to Ukraine versus Turkey. Toss a coin between these, so I'm going for the draw at 11-5. Finally, we've got Wales versus Austria. Bale and Ramsey should be strong enough to secure a home win, so Wales go in last at 6-5. So if you bet £10 with 21 bet on the fourfolds, you can win just over £1,000 if the Whacky Acca lands. Plus, if you're a new customer, sign up with 21 bet, use the promo code AskFans and get a £10 free bet. So if the Acca goes down, you're still getting that other bet. That's it for me, and hopefully, if I'm lucky enough, you'll see me again next time. Good luck.
And that is all we have for you on this week's episode. Next week, we're joining the Premier League and have a break for the international fixtures. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us, like us on all social media pages below. Remember, if the gambling gets too tough, take it easy and stop. See you soon.